Hi guys, so my narrative essay is called Citizen to a Soldier and it's about my experience to boot camp. And I'm going to read it for you. So it goes like knowing about this day for 11 months still did not mentally prepare me for my battles that I'm about to face. It is June 13th at 4 in the morning. My family is circling around me, asking for one more hug as we all have tears slipping down our faces before I have to board a plane for the first time. Saying goodbye to your support group for 6 months is not the easiest thing to do, but there's only going to be more hardships to come my way. What is my destination, you ask? It is Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, for basic training. The plane ride was a straight shot to a big city 2 hours away from the base, called St. Louis. Once we got off the plane, there are 10 buses waiting for new soldiers that take us the rest of the way. With the long bus ride, I decided to close my eyes and calm myself down. I must have fallen asleep because I wake up to the bus coming to a stop. Everyone began to stand up and grab their gear, and a drill sergeant busted onto the bus, screaming, "You maggots have less than 10 seconds to get your worthless bodies off my bus." Still half asleep, I secure my gear and rush off the bus. I've never seen so many people move so fast in one moment. It is about evening now, and I try to get familiar with my surroundings. There are many tall, tan buildings and more sand than I thought. I am dead tired and my nerves are all burnt up. From listening to many other basic training stories, I know I am at reception. The group walks closer to one of the buildings, where we are introduced to military personnel who tell us everything that we will be doing for the next 72 hours. There's a lot of paperwork that is given to us, which means we all have to stand in formation for roughly 12 hours. Finally, it is chow time. They give us bacon, eggs, and toast with orange juice. Sounds good, but the trick was we only have 3 minutes to finish everything. After chow, we had our uniform issued to us in a large duffel bag. We changed into appropriate attire and are assigned a physical conditioning test. This consists of 2 minutes of push-ups, sit-ups, and a 2-mile run. This is what determines if I continue the long journey. I am not nervous for this test because I've been training my body for almost a year. Looking around me, I see my fellow soldiers struggling with this task, many not making it. As I wait for my turn, I read the excerpt given to me to help us succeed throughout this training. The wise words that help me motivate myself are, boot camp is 80% mental and 20% physical. Don't get discouraged or give in to the temptations to give up, namely because quitting is not an option. Do not look too far ahead and stay focused on the task at hand. It was cited by Brown. Not long after reading that short quote over a couple of times, the sergeant calls my name, which is time to take the test. Thankfully, I pass and move to the next step into processing. There's a lot of standing around and waiting here. My friends that have been through this call it the famous hurry and wait tactic. The people that pass the initial PT test continue with informal marching classes and directions on how to do things correctly in a military manner. Then there is more standing and waiting. It's been 2 weeks in processing, and finally I'm leaving to my formal unit. At dawn one morning, we are all standing in formation waiting for the familiar bus to be picking us up from the airport. What seems to be like hours, a cattle car pulls up. A cattle car is a semi pulling what looks like a huge icebox with tiny windows up high. Drill sergeants start jamming us into the contraption. It is very difficult to breathe with all of our gear hugging our chests. It is also a very bumpy ride. Finally, the cattle car stops to a halt. The big doors open and we are rushed out. Our company does a shakedown right when we all step off the cattle car. The sergeants sign us up and we have to dump all of our belongings on the ground. They search it thoroughly, and finally we all run inside and get assigned our bunks, and also our battle buddies. Once everything was assigned, it was lights out, even if it was only 8 o'clock. I can only consider the first 3 weeks hell on earth. We wake up at 4 in the morning for physical training. Then we get a 2-minute shower. Even though it was only 120 seconds, the shower was the thing I look forward to most. After the shower, we had to clean our barracks, and then we all get into formation so we can have chow. After chow, we have classes where we learn how to shoot and do tactical missions. Saturdays are just normal days, but Sundays are my favorite. There are many church services that we can go to. If you decide to go to church, the sergeants don't make you do any PT or any other tasks. They simply leave you alone. A lot of my fellow bunkmates went to church even if they weren't religious, just to get a break. At church, we sing as loud as we want, simply because we can. It is a rare moment of relaxation that all of us seem to enjoy. Throughout the months, the sergeant let off the harsh punishments little by little. Our platoon is noticeably becoming stronger and more like soldiers rather than civilians. As this time is coming to an end, there are a series of tests each soldier must pass to graduate. One test is a gas chamber. The sergeants line the platoon up in front of the gas chamber doors. We get instructed on how to place and remove our protective masks. Next, in a group of 5, soldiers are filing in. I am the first group of 5. We are instructed to leave the masks on when we enter the chambers until further notice. As my group enters, the room is very foggy and I can smell the gas through my mask. My legs are shaking and I'm breathing becoming very heavy. Their sergeant makes one soldier at a time take off the protective mask to state their full name, rank, social security number, and anything else they want to hear. I am the third in line, and it is my turn. I lift my mask up from my face and stumble over the answers. Quickly, I put my mask back on and clear the gas out. After each of us are done, the sergeant makes us take all of our masks off at once and run out of the chambers without closing our eyes and chanting the soldier's creed. The next test we must pass is called the Army Weapon Qualification Course, which is the test that most soldiers fail out of the Army basic training. This consists of 3 phases. Training to become a marksman lasts approximately 2 weeks and ends with qualification testing, where a soldier must pass with a minimum score in order to proceed to graduation. Just passing the marksmanship training course will earn a soldier an Army marksmanship badge. They must hit 23 to 29 out of 40 targets in order to be considered marksmanship qualified. With all the practice I received, I scored an expert marksmanship badge. Although I excelled in marksmanship, I am having trouble excelling in other testing. As the week is tiring, I am missing home. Before lights out, I read an excerpt that all the soldiers get in the beginning of training from the Army website, and it says, "The most important single thing to know about boot camp is that it's 100% designed to reprogram children and civilians into warriors. It places them with a sense that they have been expected to do important things, far more important things that could be expected from other 18-year-olds. This is all happening during one of the most intensely stressful periods of your life, when you are kept isolated from contact from your family and friends, and everything you were before entering the Army was weak and lacking any real value until you are a soldier." This expert is what got me through the last 2 weeks of training and to graduation. Finally, it is graduating time. Basic combat training has pushed my mind and body to new limits, giving me a deeper respect for myself and those around me. Now this time has come to celebrate my efforts and the strength I have gained. This is the day that families and friends gather to watch our company transition from citizens to soldiers. As our company graduates, a humbling quote slides across the auditorium screen as it says, "Being a soldier is more than courage, it is sacrificing yourself for something greater than yourself." Kyle 66. This quote is why I left my family and went through this vigorous training for 6 months. I am an American soldier.